Now, I know that many of you have subscribed to the channel because you all enjoy the credit card content as well as the CPF content, right? But in today's video, let me just combine these two elements together because I felt that there is something in common between these two very diverse topics, alright? And let's start with the first one being the terms and conditions. Now, the thing about terms and conditions is that there will be very strict rules that you have to follow in order to achieve a certain benefit, and that is very evidently seen in credit cards, right? I mean, if you look at the most recent credit cards like the Citi Cashback card, it promises you a 8% high cashback. Now, 8% cashback sounds really good on paper because the number is really high, right? 8%, I mean, investment returns, if we have 8% every year, we can laugh to the bank already. But 8% cashback comes with a lot of terms and conditions, and one of it being you need to hit the minimum spend of $800 per month. And you realize that if you did not hit the minimum amount of $800 spending per month, you get really suboptimal cashback, like less than 1%, because they really want to award those people who spend really high on their credit cards, right? That's why the criteria for Citi Cashback is that you will need to hit a minimum of $800 in order for you to get 8% cashback. And you realize something else about Citi Cashback card is that only specific categories will get 8% cashback, like your groceries or your petrol spend will get you 8%, whereas like your dining will get you only 6% cashback, and other categories out of these three categories will not get this high cashback as advertised by Citi Cashback card. Although if we look at the terms and conditions, they will still count in hitting the minimum spend of $800, but since they do not get the bonus high cashback, I don't think it makes sense to clock any kind of spend majority on this Citi Cashback card. So that is the terms and conditions of credit card, right? Most likely if they were to give you really nice benefits that will attract you to sign up for the card, it will also means there are high requirements and high effort or even high manual tracking required for you to work towards that benefit. And we can actually see this quite evidently in CPF as well. Now, the primary purpose of CPF is really to build up your retirement funds so that you can have a lifelong payout when you are at your old age or retirement age, like after 65, right? Give you like guaranteed CPF life payouts. But from your journey as a young working adult till you are 65 years old, that's around 40 over years of working that you have to endure. But that is just for CPF life, right? Because you know that at age 55, which is the magic age, you can actually start to withdraw your CPF amounts if you hit like the magic numbers. And here are some of the magic numbers. Firstly is the full retirement sum, the FRS for year 2022, that is 192,000. That means that if you have hit the full retirement sum of 192,000 for the year of 2022 and you are age 55, you can withdraw all amounts above the full retirement sum combined in your OA plus SA together. So any amount above that in your OA and SA can be withdrawn after your retirement account has been created at age 55, correct? That's just one of the magic numbers, right? Because you do have other criteria of withdrawing CPF. For example, you could also pledge your basic retirement sum, which is half of the full retirement sum. So if we take 192,000 divide by 2, you will get 96,000. So if you have set aside $96,000 as your basic retirement sum, additionally, you have to pledge your property so that you can prove to CPF board that you have sufficient retirement funds should you need to sell your house, right? So that's the other criteria. You can withdraw your CPF. Any amounts above the BRS, you can withdraw it, provided you have pledged your property, because CPF really wants you to ensure that you have sufficient retirement funds before they let you withdraw any amount. But what if you are in a situation where you are unable to hit the full retirement sum FRS as well as the basic retirement sum BRS? Then you know that CPF could actually allow you to withdraw $5,000 if you actually had $5,000 in the CPF. So it's not like they don't let you withdraw anything. It's just that if you hit those criteria set by the BRS and the FRS, at least you can withdraw a higher amount. But if you don't hit any of those numbers, that's fine. They will still let you withdraw $5,000. So for those CPF haters who say that CPF is not your money, I think it's not your money because you don't have enough. If you have enough in the CPF and you can hit the BRS or the FRS, then CPF above that is definitely your money. And even if it's not your money at age 55, by the time you reach age 65, where you can start your CPF life payouts, those are your money, right? Those are what you have saved all these years, just coming back to you in the form of annuity. So I guess this kind of CPF thing is really subjective. If you really think that CPF is not your money and you don't want to put more money into it, it will never be your money. Now, I can safely say that CPF is my money because I have reached the full retirement sum anyway. So any amounts above the FRS, I can withdraw at age 55, right? So I will consider that as my money. So you see the similarity between credit cards and CPF is that there are some terms and conditions that you need to fulfill in order for you to get the benefit. For CPF, it's more like they let you enjoy the high interest rates, but you need to at least hit the basic retirement sum or the full retirement sum for them to allow you to withdraw. Otherwise, you still need to keep those amounts in your CPF to prove that you have sufficient retirement funds at your old age, which is really similar to the Citi cashback card example. If you never hit the minimum spend, then they will not give you the cashback, right? Simple as that. If you never hit minimum sum in CPF, they don't let you withdraw. Same thing, same, sama. Now, the second thing similar between CPF and credit cards is that they have predictable long-term trend. What I mean by predictable long-term trend is that you know what is going to happen, you expect something to happen, but when that something or event happens, people still love to complain or kao-bu about it. I know some of you don't understand, right? Let me just give it in the example of CPF first. You know that your full retirement sum is going to increase every year. I think that is a very open and transparent fact. Everyone should know that your full retirement sum every year will increase to adjust for inflation. Previously, it was increasing at 3% per annum, but now I think the government has mandated that it will increase at 3.5% per annum to keep up with the higher inflation rates. But I know that some of you will complain really because you all will know that inflation this year has risen to a sky-high record of close to 5%, and you say that CPF cannot match inflation. Now, the purpose of CPF annual increase is not really to match inflation because it is meant to keep at pace, right? The speed of it. Can you imagine like every year we just increase the CPF full retirement sum? As with the inflation, I think the government has too much work to do. Too much paperwork to go and adjust for the increase based on the inflation rate currently. So for those who always complain on the Facebook page that CPF full retirement sum is always increasing and shifting goalposts, right? That's the famous word you all like to use. Shifting of goalposts make me cannot hit the CPF minimum sum. That's why I don't want to put in more money in the CPF. You know that it's just doing yourself a disfavor, right? Let's put it this way. If we don't have the full retirement sum increasing year by year, if the full retirement sum has been remaining at 100,000 every year, and coupled with the high inflation environment that we are experiencing right now, do you think that that is actually enough for your CPF Life payout? If the CPF Board Life has to pay you $500 per month based on your CPF Life plan, then do you think $500 is enough 10 years later or even 20 years later? So the thing is, unless you increase the full retirement sum and allow people to top up more money into the CPF, then at least people who could do so can add in more funds to the CPF for retirement purposes, not for enjoyment purposes. Let me stress this, for retirement purposes. Otherwise, when the time comes where everyone needs to draw out their retirement funds and realize that $500 per month is not enough for their basic subsistence living, then you realize that more people cannot afford the things that they want to buy, or even there are situations where people become homeless because they could not afford their homes, they cannot afford their rents, and all these people will just lay around on the streets. Do you think that is less safe or more safe for Singapore? Also, let's take a look at the alternative, right? What if we don't contribute to CPF? We need to increase the taxes in Singapore, right? Because someone has to fund the state, and those will come from taxpayers' money. So would you rather pay a higher level of taxes and fund this kind of social welfare, or do you prefer that people actually take care of their own retirement funds by contributing more to CPF? I think that's a very subjective answer because Singapore is currently not a welfare state. We prefer that everyone take care of themselves and be self-sufficient via the CPF system. And I think that's more preferred in the current environment. But speaking of welfare, if you really want good welfare, then here is a message from the sponsor to get the free rewards. I know that some of you have missed the chance to get your free kopi from Mumu last month, and so did I, because this time round inflation has caused my coffee to increase price by 10 cents, and inflation is a necessary devil, right? So how to fight inflation, you may ask, and that is by getting free money. How to get free money then? It's very simple. Just sign up using my referral link for your Mumu account, then deposit at least $2,700 to get a chance to spin the stock wheel, and you can get up to one free Amazon stock. Then next, you know what to do? You may take out a sum of $100 out of your cash deposit and start a Moomoo Cash Plus. Now, once you have invested at least $100 in Moomoo Cash Plus, you'll get a daily cashback coupon of $2 for 30 days. And you know, $2 times 30 days, that is $60 worth of free money. And I can give you 4 very specific reasons why you should use Moomoo Cash Plus. Firstly, there's no monthly negative return to date. Secondly, with the increasing rising interest rate environment, there is potential earnings from this. Next, the process to subscribe and the process to redeem it is really fast and quick. And lastly, there's potential income daily, even on the weekends. So this is how I will use Moomoo Singapore and Moomoo Cash Plus to fight inflation. So that was for CPF, right? How about for credit card? There is actually a predictable long-term trend as well, because credit card rewards kind of devaluate over time as well, if you haven't realized. Now, if you look at the recent examples, we have the UOB1 credit card recently devalued or nerfed, right? Because they removed the $2,000 spending tier from 5% cashback to 3.33%. That is a major weakening of that credit card, and it's kind of expected to happen. If we look at Grab rewards, previously they award you like Grab reward points for using your external credit card on Grab apps, and now they have taken away the benefit as well and force you to use their Grab Pay in order to get those Grab reward points. In fact, if you remember like 2 or 3 years ago, a lot of credit cards actually award you for Grab Pay wallet top-ups. Even the UOB one was giving 10% cashback on Grab Pay wallet top-ups. But all this has been removed, all this has been nerfed, because it's obviously not sustainable in the long run, right? People could milk it for a time-limited period, but as more people take advantage of this kind of situations, all these are bound to be cash losing for the banks. Which is why now for Grab Pay wallet top-up, I only say that y'all can use the American Express True Cashback or the UOB Absolute Amex for it. Now, not just credit cards, right? If we look at just miles rewards redemption and we look at the KrisFlyer award chart, your KrisFlyer miles needed to redeem a business class ticket flight generally increases over time, because they will need to peg with inflation as well, right? Because the air ticket prices have increased, therefore the miles required to redeem the award ticket for KrisFlyer miles redemption have to increase as well. That is just a known fact. So you realize that devaluation or nerf is kind of the constant of credit card rewards and even miles hacking. Because at the initial stage, the financial institutions and your merchants want to get as many people to sign up, right? They want to get more customers, more new acquisitions for people to get on board on their rewards program. But generally over time, as more people come on board, they cannot actually afford to pay out such good reward terms anymore, and they either have to nerf it or in the worst case remove it. That's why when this kind of sign up bonus get more matured, then that's when the nerf starts coming in. You can always notice a trend coming in for credit cards as well. And sometimes it's not about just taking away the rewards, or they can just make it really difficult for you to redeem, right? Do you remember like last time, like cashback can be automatically deducted from your spend, but now I think some banks implement this process whereby you need to like send a manual redemption via SMS, or if not, they will just make your cashback or miles expire after a certain due date. I think that's just all part of the credit card game that you have to be very wary about, and be very careful on tracking all this kind of reward stuff before they expire. Or in any case, they can also introduce higher minimum spend, or they want to cap the rewards, right? All these are just different types of examples that banks and financial institutions would do to make it more difficult for you. So in terms of credit card cashback and rewards, we are always living on borrowed time, so it's always better to make hay while the sun shines. When you found this kind of benefit that I shared on my channel or any other people's channel, then just milk it as much as possible, as fast as possible, before any kind of nerf or weakening comes about. And don't complain when such bad news come around and say that I have missed the boat, because I have always been telling all you guys to get on the boat, get the sign up rewards, get the best cashback for your credit card right now before the party really ends, right? So don't really blame anyone for doing all this kind of weird stuff, changing your terms and conditions. It's just yourself not being ready. I think the ultimate takeaway from this is that good things will never last as more people get on board the program and exploit it. So you really have to make your hay while the sun shines, and that includes CPF as well, because CPF, you know that in the long term it's just going to go up over time. So whether you want to pump your CPF up during your early years, or you would just want to wait till the CPF minimum sum or full retirement sum goes really high, then you come and complain that you are not going to hit it. I think instead of complaining, why not do something positive and work on it to see how you can make it better for yourself. So really, this video is not about complaining. This video is more about comparing between CPF and credit cards, the trends that I can see that are quite similar, and the groups of people that react differently to it. I think it's quite interesting, right? But if you really want to learn on the highest cashback credit cards where you can meet the terms and conditions and get some nice cashback off your spend, then you have to refer to my previous video right here, because I will share about all these high cashback credit cards as well as the terms and conditions for you.